How do you spot bullish trends before they happen? Especially with altcoins, okay? Especially with altcoins, because you guys should know this, that altcoins are going to be following Bitcoin for the most parts. Even if you guys are not trading Bitcoin, you guys need to be following Bitcoin, okay? Because if because Bitcoin is the driver of this market. If it pumps, that's very good for the altcoins. However, if it dumps, that's not going to be good for the altcoins. Okay, we have seen, when Bitcoin started dumping or even consolidating, that's not going to, especially on an extensive time frame, like back in March last year to like November, right? That was not a good time to trade altcoins for the most part. Okay, especially if you guys are holding, right? So have to pay attention to Bitcoin. I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinion on this market is, of course, bullish. But of course, these are just my opinions, like the entirety of this video, and they're not financial advice. You gotta form your own opinions. Now, we're going to be talking about Worldcoin in this video and see how to spot some of these patterns, because these patterns are everywhere, right? You just have to chart it, and once you get used to charting it, you'll find these patterns, and you guys will find better opportunities that are lower risk for entry and not end up having to chase these huge green candles that are especially happening on the day of. Okay, those are much riskier. Okay, so we're going to be talking about WorldCoin here. This is WLD USDT. See what's happening in this coin. See what are some possible opportunities, right? This is the weekly time frame for WorldCoin, and this pattern has been forming since May of last year. So it is a falling wedge pattern. If you guys, um, if you guys chart any pattern, just chart a falling wedge pattern, okay? Because it's probably the most common, and it tells you after an extensive downtrend on that time frame that the price action has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. In this case, it broke to the upside just last week. Okay, with there's still a lot of price target left to go, right? The price target based on this breakout point would be about $6.30. Okay, which it has a long way to go. But price targets are estimates only, okay? It very much depends on what happens with Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin starts dumping, these altcoin setups, they're not going to be worth very much. I did a more detailed video on Bitcoin earlier today. I will link you guys at the end of this video. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of the Bitcoin chart, because that can very much wreck your trades. Now, WorldCoin here is trying to get on top of the weekly 50 SMA as resistance. You guys should be paying attention to moving averages, because moving averages, when they're above the price action, is going to be resistance. And the white line here on this weekly time frame is the weekly 50 SMA, and WorldCoin is trying to get on top of that. Now, price. Let's take a look into the a smaller time frame here. 4-hour time frame. Why is it still important to chart lower time frames even after a breakout being seen on a higher time frame? Because they give me a better sense of where a good entry could possibly be. Now, this is the 4-hour time frame, and it is another falling wedge pattern. Breakout target for this pattern here is about $2.05. Okay, and this is a fresh breakout. These are probably better entries if I want to chase or look for an entry after a breakout. I look for patterns and dips after the breakout for a better retest, right? right? Because I don't want to be chasing higher highs. I'd rather be going in for a higher low, right? If I want to get into a pump, right? So this is why it's still very important to continuously chart your candles, right? I always refresh my candles, right? Probably on at least 2 to 3 times a day, right? In case any new data comes in. So this is basically what I'm seeing for Worldcoin. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of it by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, or any other coins in this market. And let me know in the comment section below, and I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.